I was 7 years old when I first began running. It was when we had just moved into our new house and I discovered our family's treadmill. One day I decided I'd try to go on a run on it, and so I did. I ran as fast as I could and watched the dots go around one by one on the treadmill. I, I finished and thought that I'd done a whole mile, and so I went up to my dad and told him, I was like, "Dad, I ran a 2-minute mile." And then he came in and looked at the treadmill and told me I'd only run a fourth of a mile. So I continued running and pushed myself until I was 8 years old and could run an actual 6-minute mile. I loved running and would do it almost every night, but due to me running on the same hard surface of the treadmill, I got patellar subluxation, which essentially means that my patella was being pulled to the outside of my knee due to an imbalance in my legs. If I strengthened the inner muscles, the doctor said that it would go away, or I could just grow out of it. So I stopped running altogether. I had no plans of continuing running until my freshman year when I played soccer. That year I had no knee pain, and so that summer my dad asked me if I wanted to try run a 5K with him. I was like, sure, why not? My knee pain was gone, so I decided I would. I ran my first 5K in 23 minutes and took third place in the race. I enjoyed the feeling of doing well, especially because it was a feeling I never got from soccer, because we only won one game. So that summer, that fall, I decided I'd run cross country. I ran and enjoyed it a lot. I did well at the sport. But as I ran more, I realized that it wasn't just the feeling of doing well that kept me running. It was something more. It was seeing God's beauty as I began to run trails. I had fallen in love with trail running, especially Waterton Canyon. If you didn't know, Waterton Canyon is a dirt trail road that follows a scenic river in a beautiful valley. There's a section about 3 miles into the canyon with a small dam that makes a nice peaceful area of water underneath the beautiful canyon walls. It's incredibly beautiful. It's a section where I always find peace. It's a place where I pray for people I love and reflect on how my life's been going. I've continued going there almost every Saturday, minus the past few because of Corona, but I've loved it. Running is good to me because it brings out the emotion of happiness while also experiencing pain. It's good because it brings out who I really am, my true emotion. It's a time of reflection, something we as humans tend to underrate. We can see the importance of reflection through the example of Jesus. Whenever he was stressed, he went off alone into the wilderness to find peace, to reflect. In Matthew 14, 1 through 13, when Jesus' cousin, John the Baptist, was killed by Herod, when Jesus heard what happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Jesus went off to spend time in isolation to find peace. I loved this idea of isolation and reflection so much that I decided I'd go and backpack sections 1, 2, and 3 of the Colorado Trail. If you didn't know, the Colorado Trail is a 486-mile long trail that goes from Waterton Canyon all the way to Durango, Colorado. Me and my dad only did 30 miles of the trail over 2 days, but it gave me a lot of time to reset from the normal stresses of life. I decided not to take my phone with me because, honestly, my phone just takes me out of the moment. And life is short, so I might as well spend as much time in the moment as possible. We saw like 5 people over the course of 2 days, and it really made me experience my love for going into the wild to reset myself. I run for that disconnection from my everyday life, for that very peace. Although running is great for reflection, for it to be something continually pursued, you need support from friends or from coaches. I challenged myself to run a 14er, and I couldn't because of the weather. So I decided I'd run North Tabletop Mountain, the beginning of it, instead. I ran it 10 times to make it equivalent to Mount Elbert in Colorado. I had done about 5 of them and thought that I'd never make it to 10 until my coach showed up and she pushed me through a few. Proverbs says 2 are better than 1, and I believe that running is one of the best examples of that. With others, you can accomplish so much more. Others bring competition and enjoyment, both things that push people to be better versions of themselves. Later, I did an interview with the long-distance track and field head coach at Columbine. She's run the Boston Marathon for almost 15 years and has coached almost every year through it. She's been a huge influence in my life due to her constant happiness through all the hard things she's gone through. She explained the importance of running in her own life and said that she doesn't run just for the joy of herself, but to bring others joy as well. That's why she coaches. Coaching brings her the opportunity to connect with people and love them. It really showed the importance of community in running. Although I quit soccer for the ability to compete individually, I realized that cross country is just as much, if not more, of a team sport than soccer. There's just something good about being with a team, working hard to complete goals of your own. This has kept my coach and myself running for all these years. It brings her joy to see the team push each other to be better versions of themselves, not just in running, but in personality as well. It made me want to be more involved in the team at Columbine. I usually run for myself, but she's taught me to run for others as well. She once said, "Running is not for the faint of heart. If it was easy, everyone would do it, like riding a bike." She's not saying that riding a bike is easy, but going on an easy run is much more difficult than an easy bike ride. So, if running is so difficult, why do it, right? Why run? I would say that there's two main reasons. First, running has an immense amount of health benefits, and many people say that they can't run due to joint pain or other pains that they get attributed to running. But from experience, I can say that if you run on trails and exercise proper form, you really won't have a lot of joint pain. In the book Born to Run by Christopher McDougall, he talks about how modern shoe technology has actually led to an increase in running injuries. He found that the increased amount of foam in the heel has caused many runners to heel strike. Without shoes, that same motion of heel striking would hurt, but shoes have made it okay. In other words, shoes can cause bad running form, which can lead to knee pain and shin splints and many other pains attributed to running. So if you do running right, exercising proper form, and trying not to run on concrete or other trails, there really shouldn't be that much joint pain. There should only be health benefits, such as strengthened muscles, improved cardiovascular fitness, healthier body weight, and much more. But just because you don't feel the pain in your joints doesn't mean you don't feel the pain in your muscles. It's still hard and hard to push through. So again, why run? Well, it's because running is work, and work is good. We as humans were made to work. This idea goes all the way back to Genesis, when God created Adam. It says, he took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. All the way back from the beginning, humans were made to work. We were made in the image of God, and God works. He worked to create us, worked to create the world, and works through us all the time. Work is hard, but when you have worked hard at something and you finally finish, there's a huge sense of satisfaction. It's the same with running. Every day you train and train until one day on race day, all that work becomes satisfaction. When you have that feeling, it pays off for all you've done. To compare, a TV show just has temporary satisfaction. You enjoy the show, but after you've binge watched a few hours, you feel like you've wasted most of your day. The happiness you experienced was short-lived, unlike work, which has long-term happiness. There was a study done that showed that working hard to achieve a goal makes people happier than actually achieving their goal. Running is just that. It's hard work to achieve your goals, but it will bring you long-term happiness. It's not easy, but if you persevere, you will be satisfied and you will be happier. That same coach has also made me realize the importance of the little things, like drinking water and eating well. In our future, either we're going to benefit or regret how we spend our lives. Not just in food or drink, but in everything we do. This is part of the reason why me and my coach run. We want to see spiritual growth in our lives, and running has been one of the best things for my spiritual life. My coach said a similar thing. She said without running, she wouldn't pray as often as she does. Running is her time of worship, and worship is something she'll never regret later in life. Running has been one of the best places to find myself with God, and that is why I believe it is good. Another coach at Columbine, Coach Matt, introduced me to the 4 hallmarks of running, an idea brought up by Coach Joe Vigil. There is impact. There are 4 things that they should keep in the back of their mind during a season. There's impact, journey, courage, and effort. You need to seek to have an impact. You can't define what that impact is. You should just be open to the idea of impact. If you try to say, oh, I'm going to try to be the funny guy on the team, it's not really going to work out for you. That impact that you're seeking to have may not lead to the impact you thought you would have. The second one is journey. You need to recognize that it's a journey to get to your goals. Today is not the only day in the process. It's not your goals that matter, but the process and pursuit of those goals that makes us all better people. The process is what truly brings you happiness, so enjoy it. The third thing is courage. You need to believe in your talent and ability and potential that you have. If you have the courage to set ambitious goals, you'll have the ability to get those goals. You need to try hard and pursue those goals. The last one is effort. You need to understand that putting 100% effort into your running or whatever sport you may be playing can also mean that you put 100% effort into health and recovery, so not running for a day. And that's okay. Rest and recovery is essential to any good sport. And many people put it aside and think, oh, I need to train hard every single day. But sometimes the day off is truly the best training you can ever have. Although you may never try running as a sport, real life is hard work, just like running. Hebrews 12, 1-2 says, "Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." And Paul's not talking about actual running, but using it as a metaphor. Real life, like running, is difficult. It requires willpower beyond what we all desire, but the outcome is greater than we can ever imagine.